about the people with whom we're going to have relationships, often based on how they look. As I like to say sometimes, how we look or our appearance is the bait. It catches people, it snags them, and then other things make them stay. But physically attractive people tend to be more socially desirable. We talked about this just a little bit when we talked about nonverbal communication, right? That people who are conventionally physically attractive tend to, make more money in their careers and not be convicted by juries and those types of things. Also, appearance is a factor, attractiveness is a factor in terms of decisions people make about forming relationships. However, after initial impressions, after the bait that has done its job, ordinary looking people with pleasing personalities are likely to be judged as attractive. Sometimes I put this out there and people giggle about it, but it is true. Like if you've ever met someone and you had a first impression, you were like, meh, not hot, right? And then you get to know them over time and you think, kind of hot.
Or it can go the other way around.
Or it can definitely go the other way around. You could be like, hot. And then you get to know this person, you're like, meh.
What was I thinking?
Not hot. And so it's that initial impression that's really appearance-based. We like to have all these expressions like, oh, don't judge a book by its cover, and all those things. We totally judge books by the cover. We absolutely do all the time. That doesn't make us in any way shallow people. That's how humans work, right? We have that initial impression. It's just once you get to know people, what is attractive, how you define or operationalize attractiveness usually changes, right? Usually changes, goes beyond physical appearance. So physical factors are a lot less important as a relationship progresses. Definitely less important as a relationship progresses. And as I'm making my jokes about hot, not hot, we're thinking romantic relationships, but this is also true of friendships and coworker relationships, that people that we consider attractive, we are drawn to in a lot of different aspects of life. Right? A lot of different, and it's not just that weird sexualized thing that we always do in the United States. Okay? So appearance, one factor, one reason why we form relationships with people. Another one, and this might get a little bit at what Meg was talking about, is similarity, right? If we have something in common, we tend to have social interactions and feel comfortable in social interactions with others who have something in common with us, who have similarities. Maybe it's the similarity that prompts us or initiates the social interaction. Here's my silly example. Some friends I know adopted a French bulldog. Right? They have a French bulldog. Her name is Margot Claire, if you must know. And they take Margot, they live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they take Margot out on walks, and they have met so many of their neighbors because they also have French bulldogs or other dogs, right? And because of that similarity, that commonality, they have started to have conversations and are forming friendships with people, right? That's a very top level, very concrete example of similarities, but you might, have similarities with people because they're St. Kate students, and then you start having interactions, and then you form friendships. And enough similarity in key areas can overcome even really significant differences in other areas. If you and someone else are completely different in every other way, but you really love the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Sometimes that similarity can pull you together enough that you can form some sort of relationship, even if you would never, ever think of talking to this person in any other context, right? Or, maybe it's some other area of similarity, but that can overcome a lot of differences. So appearance is one reason, similarity is another reason. This is going to seem kind of weird that we put this on the same slide, but the next one is complementarity. And so this is complement with an E, not complement with an I. Compliment with an I means saying something nice. That's how I always remember. Compliment with an I means saying something nice. Compliment with an E means completing, right? A compliment, something that goes with it. Like cranberry is a nice compliment to turkey, those types of things. So complementarity is a principle that says that differences can strengthen a relationship when each partner's characteristics satisfy the other's needs. I got a big head nod from Bree, right? When people are kind of talking their folk wisdom about relationships, and they say, oh, well, you know, opposites attract, right? It's not, you all giggled at that. It's not really opposites that attract, because if there's someone who's opposite from you, you're probably not going to have good social interactions. It's not opposites that attract. It's complements. It's just not as catchy to say complements attract, right? But complementarity means that one person has what the other person does not, in many ways. So successful couples find a way to balance their similarities and differences. Every time I talk about complementarity, I use the example of my cousin Julie and her husband Steve, who are very different people. They have some similarities, some similar values, definitely. But Julie, the best way to describe her is to use that expression, she would lose her head if it wasn't attached, right? She's just an incredibly spontaneous, creative person. She worked many years with kids with severe profound disabilities, just really connected with them because of her energy and everything. Just so great. Her husband, Steve, one of his favorite hobbies is planning vacations 2 to 3 years in advance. Another thing he does is he'll plan their dinner menus a month at a time and make a calendar with what's for dinner every night and put it up on the fridge. And this is a source of conflict sometimes in their relationship because Julie will not want to eat what Steve has planned for dinner, right? She's like, I'm not that hungry, I'm just gonna have cheese and crackers, I'll be fine. He's like, it's fish, it's been on the calendar. And they don't get it. And it's funny to people on the outside, and sometimes frustrating to them, but they've been married for 28 years because what she has is what he needs, right? And what he has is what she needs. And then they come together. And then they make an excellent couple, right? They may have an excellent relationship. Sometimes people find that with their siblings, they have complementarity, right? Oh, I got some giggling, okay, right? That your sibling is so different from you, but you come together in certain ways that your sibling has some things that you need, and you have some things your sibling needs, right? You have that complementarity. And that changes over time too, because relationships change, people get older, right, those things. So, appearance, similarity, complementarity. Another reason why we form relationships, I giggle at this one a little bit, is reciprocal attraction. All right? What? Up here. There's some, there's a little mmming up here. Reciprocal attraction means that usually we like people who like us. Right? You're all nodding your heads. If someone seems to indicate that they like us, we then like them more. Right? Probably because we believe they have excellent taste. Most of the time, this is true, that if someone else indicates some sort of attraction, liking, right? And this is not romantic relationships exclusively. This is not that. It's friendships, it's social relationships, coworker relationships. Then we think, oh, okay, yeah, Rachel.
It just makes me think of the girls who like the bad boys who don't want anything to do with them.
Okay, why does it make you think of that?
Just because we like people who like us. If they're ignoring us, why would we like them?
Usually we like people who like us. Now, if there's the good girl who likes the bad boy, it could be the complementarity thing that we're talking about. But I have the usually up there because when we think the person is fake, like we think that the affection or the liking that they're expressing to us is not authentic or genuine, then it can have the opposite effect. For example, if you meet someone and they seem to be just overly effusive and outgoing and, oh, it's so great to meet you, you might think later, yuck, right? I don't like that person. That person's fake, right? So it's not, if it's inauthentic, we usually can spot it. But if someone else genuinely says, hey, we should hang out sometime, you might think, I hadn't thought about that before, but you're right, right? We should have social interactions.
My lovely roommate has that problem all the time because she's so bubbly and happy that a lot of people think that she's
We'll
fake
assume that she's
and assume that they don't want to be her friend because she's a backstabber, because usually
Well-
that fakeness is associated with someone who uses you.
They think that the liking is not genuine,
Yeah.
right? Not genuine, that's troubling. Bree?
I feel like this kind of thing, or I think that this kind of thing has happened a lot with coworkers I've had in the past, like at the sandwich shop that I worked at or something, where I'll particularly connect with a person and we're just coworkers, but then, you know, one day we might have like a conversation about something that we can relate on, and then one time this girl was like, I like you, and I was like, what's your number? And
Yeah, I like you too,
Like,
right?
oh, I like you too. I didn't really think about that, but
Yeah.
you should have given some time. And
That's
then you
the
do,
thing,
and
if
it's totally,
somebody,
this is so true.
reciprocal attraction. The other time when it may not be the case is if someone has a really poor self-concept, really poor self-esteem, then we may not be able to believe someone would be attracted to us, right? We might think they have to be fake because I'm so crummy that it's going to feel sad.
It's terrible.
It is sad.
Reminds me of that guy you're talking about with the Facebook thing.
Yeah,
It's
that
she
pretty
can't
girls
be
don't-
real 'cause no one's pretty
Yeah.
ever.
And so this can be an example of how someone who is struggling with a really poor self-concept, maybe because of depression or something